Hi, friends, and a most pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Welcome inside Hollydell Ice Arena in Sewell, New Jersey. Home rink for the Rowan University Profs. They take on the Delaware Blue Hens in what for Delaware is the season opener for the men's Division II team, but they're going to have to get by this guy, Dan Duffy, who had 2 of Rowan's 6 goals in victory last night at St. Joe's at the Haverford Stadium just outside Philadelphia. James Witherite joining you from the 412 Communications Press Box here at Hollydell Ice Arena, just over the river from Philadelphia. Rowan 2-0 coming into this game. They beat Millersville on Labor Day weekend, and just yesterday they put up a 6-3 decision over the Hawks of St. Joe's in Philadelphia's main line. As mentioned, 2 goals for Dan Duffy, 1 for Jake McLeod, 1 for Max Findlay, 1 for Riley Capacci, 1 for Xander Robinson. They're all back in the lineup tonight, as is Bobby Kennedy, who backstopped the Profs to victory. Let up 3 goals, but comes into this night with a 1-0-0 record on the season and a save percentage hovering right around .900. On the Delaware side of the red line, first game for these Blue Hens. Plenty of new talent on the Delaware roster, but it will be an old mainstay between the pipes and Joe Monte. the native of Wayne, New Jersey, backstopping these Blue Hens. Joey Engelman and Josh Flom, the top defensive pair. And the tandem of Brendan Stam and Brian Kramer back on the front line. The X factor for this Delaware team, the departure of Austin Vecchio, the senior, got called up to Delaware's men's Division I squad for his senior year. So the Hens will have to work with the absence of Austin Vecchio, and also they've got a host of new talent coming in. For those of you who've been with us here on the Delaware Hockey Network for a while, you remember the names Jerry DiStefano and Mason Dewar, both recent graduates of Salesianum, joining the ranks of the Division II men's Delaware Blue Hens squad. Owen Cunningham in from the AAU team from last year. And as mentioned, a host of returners gracing this Delaware lineup, which we will take a closer look at on the other side of this timeout. This is the Delaware Hockey Network, and it is all brought to you by the law office of Heather A. Long.
Recovery from an injury on the job or in a car accident can be overwhelming. The expert team at the law office of Heather A. Long can carefully explain your options and advocate for you through the process of claims, proceedings, and settlements. To schedule your free consultation today, call the law office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com. Broadcast to social, print to digital, coast to coast, remote or on site, 412 Communications has the solution to bridge your team with your audience. Want to know more? Visit 412communications.com today.
Whether you're a competitive athlete or a weekend warrior, a sports medicine physician is an important player on your health team. With over 10 years of treating high school, collegiate, professional, and everyday athletes, Dr. Brad Bly of Delaware Sports Medicine is the specialist you need to achieve personal bests and lead a healthier lifestyle. With clinics in Wilmington and Townsend, Delaware Sports Medicine is here for every athlete in your family. Visit desportsmed.com today to learn more.
Recovery from an injury on the job or in a car accident can be overwhelming. The expert team at the law office of Heather A. Long can carefully explain your options and advocate for you through the process of claims, proceedings, and settlements. To schedule your free consultation today, call the law office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com.
Welcome back inside Hollydell Ice Arena. Delaware and Rowan about to meet in what for the Blue Hens is their season opener. Rowan 2-0 after wins at both Millersville and St. Joe's. Their home opener. Just moments away. And a look at the starters for Delaware. Joey Engelman and Josh Flom at the blue line. Brian Kramer and Brendan Stam joined on the front forward line by Patrick Olensky this evening. Olensky will line up at the left wing. Kramer at the right. Brendan Stam, the native of Dedham, Massachusetts, holding down the center fort. And Joe Monty, the native of Wayne, New Jersey, between the pipes. On the Rowan side of the red line, it is Bobby Kennedy who will get the call between the pipes, a sophomore, Franklinville, New Jersey. On the defensive, alternate captain Riley Rudolph, senior from Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, and the sophomore from Williamstown, New Jersey, Dom Riccardi. The top forward combination, Brian Bowman centering Max Findley, and captain Nick Thomas. Record of 93, 56, and 9 to this point in his career. And here momentarily, we'll take you inside the glass. for the national anthem, as we gave you the starting lineups for both sides. A look at the officials for this evening's game. The referees are Rich Lashall and Laura White, and the lines people are Gavin Kushner and Anthony Verderies. We'll turn our attention now to the Star-Spangled Banner. And without further ado, we're ready for Saturday night hockey in the Garden State. Delaware traveling left to right from our vantage point in their away blue sweaters. Delaware spelled down the front diagonally, New York Rangers style. White numbers on the sleeves and back, gold trim. Head to toe blue from buckets to socks. Rowan in those classic white kits, brown yokes, brown numbers all around, brown pants, and gold helmets to top off the kit. First game of the year for Delaware. Vince Falkowski has been at the helm of this men's Division II Blue Hen program since their inception. Brian Bennett in his 7th season for Rowan. Behind the bench as Olensky and Bowman meet for the opening face-off, and they're off. Olensky with the face-off win. Quick shot right off the rip from Brendan Stam for Delaware. And Bobby Kennedy with a quick save, and the face-off coming to his left just 6 seconds into the proceedings. Brian Kramer wins the attacking zone draw for Delaware. Olensky backhands the puck in behind the goal. Kramer unable to reel it in. This is pushed clear far side by Riccardi. Not out of the zone, though, as Josh Flom protects the left point. He rifles a long shot in. It is sticked away by Kennedy. And here's the first Profs attack of the night, led by Riley Rudolph up the right side. He was angled below the goal. Flom recovered the puck, and this is flipped up into the atmosphere by Brian Kramer through neutral ice. Linesperson Gavin Kushner saying no icing here, but the Hens guilty of an offside, and the face-off will come above the Rowan blue line with 39 seconds elapsed here at opening period play. Fresh legs on for both sides. First we're seeing at the second line for Delaware, Evan Oginski, flanked by Owen Cunningham and Anthony Greco. It was Josh Bianchi, alternate captain, taking the face-off for Rowan, flanked by Danny Duffy and Pantelis Karakavitas. Duffy with 2 goals last night and Rowan's 6-3 win over St. Joe's. And Duffy unable to handle the puck cleanly at center. It's pushed back by Oginski from the center logo in deep behind the Rowan goal. Duffy shovels this up the near boards. Buckman holding the point for Delaware. He couldn't cleanly advance the puck to Cunningham. It's tied up in the near corner. Oginski out-muscled by Karakavitis. He works this ahead to Duffy. Odd man rush for the Profs. It's a 3-on-2. Duffy stick handles neatly past Jake Ehrlich, but he was angled to the far corner out of the shot lane. Fanning on it at the point was Josh Bianchi. This puck taken away by Greco. He marches past center and now into the Rowan zone. Drop pass to Cunningham, but he bobbled the puck right at the base of the Rowan bench. It's taken away by Bianchi, but not cleared. Aiden Starr, one of the Delaware newcomers. Freshman from Fairfax, Virginia. Tried to work in low. Couldn't set up Evan Winloff at the top of the zone. And this is pushed clear by the Profs. They will change. And Mason Dewar, the product of Salesianum School, along with a number of others through this Delaware Men's Division II program in its recent history, tries to get things going the other way for the Blue Hens. But they'll face a defensive zone face-off, their first of the game, with exactly 2 minutes behind us, as Monty freezes a puck thrown in from distance by the Rowan Profs attacking squad, and the faceoff comes to Monty's left. Jerry DiStefano, another Salesianum freshman, failed to win the faceoff, but he keeps on ticking deep in his own territory, unable to come away with the puck. The centering pass the other way went to Matt Karabasi, but he couldn't connect from 25 feet away. Meyer recovers for the Profs. He's steered to the far wall by the reaching stick of Aiden Starr. He comes in walking the line. He took aim from point-blank range. Monty got a piece of the puck and directed it up into the back netting. Out of play, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Into a back-and-forth first period. Both teams generating chances early. Shots two aside. With 17:34 to go in the first period of play. And the face-off comes to the left of Joe Monty. Lucas Riccardi joined to the circle by Joey Legato, as the fourth line is on for Delaware already. This fourth line comprised of Legato, sophomore Owen McManus, and sophomore George Snyder. Speaking of freshmen, plenty of them on this Rowan squad. The bottom six forwards all in their first year. Likewise, Dimitri Thompson and R.J. Rowan. So Brian Bennett dressing 8 first-year players here in tonight's hockey game. The Mainer, McManus, tried to connect with Snyder in the near corner, but he was double-teamed. Engelman holds the point successfully for Delaware. He throws the puck in off the backboards. It ricochets to the far corner, and it's picked up by Rowan's Carter Wyatt, but he was stood up at his own blue line by the backhand of George Snyder protecting the zone. Hens give it away. Recovered by Legato. Close-up shot was rushed and pushed just off its intended line. Here's a 2-on-2 Rowan counterattack led by Riccardi, but he was stood up at center. Working in deeper was Riley Capecci with a shot from in close. Didn't make his mark from only 12 feet away, and here's a 2-on-2 for the Hens the other direction. George Snyder was slowed up by the reaching stick of John Kromchik, who emerges with the vulcanized rubber in the far corner of his own zone. He clears his own line. Puck recovered by Olensky, but Rudolph takes it away and works this 2/3 of the way up ice. Back behind the Delaware goal. It was tipped on the way through, so no icing to set up an attacking zone face-off for Delaware. Rudolph, cross-ice pass. Couldn't reel the puck in off his skate. Buckman bodies him in the far corner as they both went pursuing the puck, and now the Hens again clear. Just beyond the 4-minute mark of the first period. No score from Hollydell. Brian Bowman couldn't work through the slot. Kramer recovers a loose puck. He chips it off the near glass. It's volleyed back across neutral territory by Riley Rudolph. And Rowan will get some fresh defenders on as play continues deep in the Delaware zone. Findlay double-teamed on his way toward the cage. Couldn't maintain control. Bowman double-teamed now in the near corner. Delaware swarming aggressively, trying to limit Rowan's chances in the early stages of this hockey game. Buckman had a clean path to the puck. Had a good step and a half advantage on Findlay to get there. The Hens clear. Duffy recovers at center. He throws a long shot in. Puck steadied by Monty. Subsequently cleared. Icing waved off. Good hustle by Stam to win the race to the puck over Dimitri Thompson, who bodies him down in the near corner. There's that old-timey hockey that we're used to seeing when these two teams meet. No shortage of physicality anytime we've seen Delaware and Rowan get together. But from the JC era, the Rowan team has certainly developed into a speed, skating, and skill squad, much as Vince Falkowski has modeled the Delaware program. The modern game, certainly one that puts a premium on such qualities. The days of slapshot long gone. But we're still in for a show anytime we see the Hens and Profs meet. It's been that way for as long as we can remember. And tonight is no exception, 6 minutes into a scoreless game. 2-on-1 for Rowan. Griffin Meyer tried to hit McLeod with a cross slot pass. Didn't get good contact on the puck. Riccardi works in close. The centering feed from Meyer. Nobody home. It was cleared out by Greco. Hens clear. Karabasi to McLeod. Swarmed by Oginski. He flubs the breakout pass intended for Rudolph up the far boards. Flom pulls back into his own zone. Engelman, the recipient of a D-to-D pass. Diagonal breakout ahead. Too hot for Cunningham to handle. So he leaves it back again to Flom, who will try again more deliberately. Cunningham clears from just above his own blue line. Riccardi tried to stick the puck down. It ends up deep into the Rowan zone. And Riccardi had to chase that puck behind the goal under forechecking pressure from Evan Oginski. Mason Dewar trying to hold the point. Maintained the zone for a couple extra seconds before Rudolph took the puck away. Headman to McLeod over the center logo. He launches it in behind the Delaware goal from there. And that enables the Profs to get some fresh legs onto the ice. Still looking for that first goal of the game. Shots even, 3 aside, with 7 minutes and 20 seconds in the books. There's a fourth Delaware shot. It came from the far half wall off the stick of Brendan Stam, but Kennedy had the last word there. 3-on-2 for Rowan. Wyatt across to Karabasi. Capecci crashing the net. Unable to connect. Kramer the other direction. Hit Stam with a breakout pass, but he couldn't connect. Mason Dewar surrounded by white sweaters, had some help from Buckman. Now Dewar's able to clear. Kushner says no icing. Rowan advances the puck to Riley Capecci, who plays it on toward the Delaware blue line, but he couldn't find Riccardi on the advancing pass. And Michael Buckman's going to take his time to work this up ice. He tried to find DiStefano over the center logo. Puck was tipped off a Rowan stick all the way in behind the Rowan goal. Race on for the puck. Stam got some help from DiStefano. He tried to center. This is covered up by a lunging Bobby Kennedy. And we've got a pause in play with 11:33 to go in the first period. And a bit of a disagreement, quarrel, whatever you want to call it, lover's spat, I don't know. Behind Kennedy's office. Neither side the worse for wear as Verderies quickly intervenes. The face-off comes to the left of Kennedy with George Snyder in to take it for the Blue Hens. Top line on for Rowan. Fourth line on for Delaware. And as one could surmise, the Profs win the draw and they win the Delaware zone. Lost briefly as Riccardi couldn't hold the point. That opens the door for Delaware to come marching right back the other way. Legato didn't have the reinforcements. He turned the puck over. Bowman one-on-one cutting toward the cage. Aiden Starr did well to clog up the slot. But the Hens are going to take the first penalty of the game as the whistle of Laura White sounds. 9:02 into the first period. This is a slash. And Evan Winloff is the guilty party. So Winloff off for 2 minutes. Delaware on their first penalty kill of the season. This penalty kill could be brought to you by you. Sponsorship opportunities are available here on the Delaware Hockey Network. To learn more, email mjr@412communications.com. Again, it was Evan Winloff guilty of a slash. at the 9:02 mark of the first period. 19 seconds gone in this Delaware penalty kill. Olensky, Kramer, Engelman, and Flom. The quartet on for this PK. Good puck movement around the perimeter of the zone. Rowan tried to set up Bianchi on the welcome mat with a cross-slot pass, but it sailed over Bianchi's stick. The Hens clear, and they change. Robinson breaks out to Bianchi up the left side. Cross-ice feed to Duffy. He had 2 goals last night against St. Joe's. Checked off his feet by Flom, crossing over to the half wall. Rudolph tries to bulldoze his way in, and he's going to get called with a hand pass. Richie Lachal blows the whistle just beyond midway through the first period. And a hand pass against the Profs will set up a neutral zone face-off right in front of the Delaware bench. 59 seconds to go on the Winloff penalty. Decent kills so far for Delaware. Jake Ehrlich and Buckman back at the blue line now with Oginski and Greco, the 2 forwards on. In come the Profs back on the attack. Rudolph was fed the puck by Findlay. He gives it right back. They play keep away just inside the blue line. Cycled now to Riccardi. Delayed penalty signaled by Laura White after a Rowan stick went airborne in the low slot. That shot from Riccardi was blocked. Race on for the puck. Oginski trying to tag up. There Buckman touches with 9:12 to go here in the first period. So at 10:48, another Delaware penalty coming up. Laura's got Buckman off for interference. So we've got 14 seconds of 5-on-3. So far, so good on the kill for Delaware. The shot from Riccardi was steered wide by Monty. Rudolph top of the zone. Now 5-on-4 as the Winloff penalty expired with the Hens unscathed, but they're down a man for the next 96 seconds. A poke check from Josh Flom sends the puck skittering back into the Rowan zone. Rudolph has been out for quite some time. Likely needs a breather here. He regathers himself behind the Rowan goal, and here he comes under forechecking heat from Stam. Puck goes over the glass off Engelman's stick, out of play in the neutral zone. Verderies will spot the face-off right above the Delaware blue line. 8.5 minutes to go in the first period of a 0-0 game. 1:18 remaining on the penalty clock. Stam, Kramer, Flom, and Engelman, that top penalty-killing unit back on. Second power play unit on for Rowan with Josh Bianchi centering Duffy and Rowan. Robinson and Thompson back at the blue line, and this is Xander Robinson, who had a goal and an assist last night. Cross-ice feed to Duffy. He accelerates up the left wing boards. He's angled below the cage by Engelman. Still Duffy sets up Bianchi on the welcome mat. Monty says no, sir. 8:12 to go. Here in the first period, a minute remaining on the Michael Buckman interference minor, and the face-off comes to the left of Monty, who stopped all 6 shots that he's faced to this point. Somehow a broken stick ended up on the cap rail of the near boards. That the cause for the delay. And play resumes in the Delaware zone, with Rowan Xander Robinson trying to maintain the point, but this was pushed clear by Delaware's Aiden Starr. Starr, Winloff, Stam, Kramer. The penalty-killing quartet as we enter the 13th minute of the first period of this scoreless hockey game from Hollydell. Botched breakout pass. Kramer couldn't get to the puck in time for Delaware. This comes back to center, thrown back in by Winloff. Kennedy steadies. Dimitri Thompson, native of Stouffville, Ontario. Carminacciello territory. Gains center before throwing the puck the rest of the way into the Delaware end. Final seconds of the Buckman penalty tick away. And the Hens come away unscathed from 2 consecutive penalties. And here's a 3-on-1 Delaware attack. Brian Kramer opened fire from the bottom half of the near circle. But that shot went over the crossbar behind Kennedy into the back glass. And Rudolph gains the zone for Rowan the other side. Inside 7 minutes to go. In this first period, no score as yet from Hollydell. Joey Engelman deep in his own zone. Couldn't find Greco on the stretch pass through neutral ice. It was intercepted by Rudolph. He was sure to gain the center line before letting this go all the way back into the Delaware zone. To-a-side battle in the far corner, Matthew Carabassi emerging with the puck. Working in close was Riccardi. Didn't have the angle on the shot. Rudolph did, though, from the left point. But it was steered wide by Monty. Good for a 7th Delaware save. McLeod flips the puck over the Delaware blue line. Partial changing of the guard for the Profs. Puck bounces low in the Hen zone. Aiden Starr works this clear to DiStefano. DiStefano's entry together with Dewar and Cunningham ruled onside. He plays the carom shot behind the net. Holding the left point was Buckman. This was gloved down by Cunningham. He couldn't maintain the zone, so the Hens will regroup in neutral ice. A touch from DiStefano. A 4 of the blue line results in an offside infraction. 5:50 to go in the first period. And the face-off is spotted just above the Delaware blue line, right in front of Vince Falkowski's bench. So plenty of territory lost by the Hens as a result of that offside pass. And the Profs capitalize and reset in Delaware territory. Olensky could not clear the zone. This held in by Riccardi. Shot wobbled in. Kromchik holds the point. He launches one in deep. Didn't have the line. It ricocheted off the near corner, the puck did. Ehrlich with time and space. Tried to find Olensky. But instead, this will come back an icing with 5 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the first period. Still waiting for that elusive first goal as we look at that 3-on-1 from the Blue Hens a couple moments ago on the 412 Communications instant replay. Brian Kramer had a good look from the near dot. But his shot sailed high into the back glass. Best chance of the game for either team so far. But at the 15-minute completion mark, we are still scoreless from the Garden State. Buckman could not clear. He tried to loft the puck out of harm's way, but he throws the vulcanized rubber into the rafters, and we've got a pause, and Delaware's got a D-zone face-off with 4:44 to go in the first. If you've been injured on the job or in a car accident, you know just how challenging and overwhelming the recovery process can be. And that's why having a trusted and caring representative by your side is essential to help you navigate the complex world of workers' compensation and personal injury. The law office of Heather A. Long will guide you through every step of the process, from filing your claim to representing you in hearings and appeals. To schedule a free consultation, call the law office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com. The law office of Heather A. Long, proud presenting partners of the Delaware Hockey Network. Winloff tried to clear. It came back to him off the stick of Thompson. 4:12 to go in the first period. Aiden Starr throws this diagonally off the near boards. Icing waved off by Anthony Verderes. Thompson, the Ontarian. Advances to Karakavitas. 2-on-2, the zone entry for Rowan. Karakavitas stood up by the back, checking Winloff. McManus couldn't get past Thompson along the right wing dashers. Snyder looking for a path. He's got one now, but he's outnumbered. This 2-on-4 attack sees George Snyder shoot, but a stick check up into the netting brings us a pause in play with 3 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the first period. Still looking for that elusive first goal. Delaware getting some shots away again at Kennedy, but none on goal. Shot standing at 7-4 in favor of the Rowan Profs. Hens swarming in the net. Kramer tried to backhand one in off the Olensky setup, but was wide. Engelman failed to hold the point as Stam played the puck back up the near wall. Flom clears his own zone. Icing waved off again. Karabasi got stick on puck right at his own blue line for Rowan. Rudolph under a forechecking swarm from both Engelman and Stam. Under duress, works the puck free. Flom had to hustle back to his own blue line to recover as we enter the final 3 minutes of the first period. No score from Hollydell. Riccardi to Rudolph. Pass ahead intended for McLeod was tipped off the stick of Engelman. Meyer plays this below the goal. Olensky intercepts. Engelman recovers. He's drilled in the near corner by the forechecking Griffin Meyer. Flom maintaining control for Delaware. Kramer to Stam. Drop pass to Olensky joining the rush right side. He tried to center, nobody home. And here's a 2-on-2 the other way for the Profs, led by McLeod. Buckman tried to steer him off his feet. Monty comes up with the save on that A-grade chance generated by Jake McLeod the whole way. He had one of Rowan's 6 goals last night against St. Joe's and an assist as well. Looking for his 3rd point of the season here, couldn't get it. But an attacking zone face-off will await the Profs with 2 minutes and change to go in the first period as a result of a Delaware icing. Modern media is everyone shouting for attention and no one hearing a thing. So how do you get your voice above the fray? 412 Communications has all the answers from broadcast to social, print to digital. Learn more at 412communications.com, building bridges between brands and the people they serve. Final 2 minutes. Greco right down the pipe. Long shot from 35 feet square into the Kennedy breadbasket for save number 5. Wyatt's counterattack stunted at the red line as Michael Buckman took away all the lanes possible and forced a dump and chase from the Profs. And now Ehrlich recovers. Trying to jam the puck in on the doorstep was Bowman off the turnover. Monty again stood his ground for save number 9. In preseason action against the Hershey Cubs of the USPHL on Sunday, Joe Monty in 20 minutes of action saved 14 of 15 shots faced. So he looks good. He was primed and ready to roll in preseason play, and so far so good for the native of Wayne, New Jersey. A perfect 9 for 9 on the save department as we come to the final minute of the first period. Brian Kramer emerging from the pack at his own blue line. Headman to Stan. He's got the breakaway shot. Save made again by Kennedy. Best Delaware chance now, and polite applause from the Rowan faithful after Kennedy holds his ground. Hens trying to prolong the attack. Stam gave it up to Rudolph mid-zone. Rudolph gained red before the dump and change. Fresh defenders on as this puck is pursued by Winloff and Allen in the near corner of the Delaware zone. Evan Winloff won that battle. Here's Kramer again. Last chance for the Hens as we come to single digits in the opening period. Starr couldn't set up Olensky on the welcome mat. Engelman coming back the other way. Threw the puck through the slot from the left side. The final seconds will tick away, and the first period has reached its conclusion. So 20 minutes in the books, and nothing to show for it for either team. We are scoreless. One period of play. This is the Delaware Hockey Network, and it's brought to you by the Law Office of Heather A. Long.
Whether you're a competitive athlete or a weekend warrior, a sports medicine physician is an important player on your health team. With over 10 years of treating high school, collegiate, professional, and everyday athletes, Dr. Brad Bly of Delaware Sports Medicine is the specialist you need to achieve personal bests and lead a healthier lifestyle. With clinics in Wilmington and Townsend, Delaware Sports Medicine is here for every athlete in your family. Visit desportsmed.com today to learn more.
Recovery from an injury on the job or in a car accident can be overwhelming. Long can carefully explain your options and advocate for you through the process of claims, proceedings, and settlements. To schedule your free consultation today, call the Law Office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com.
There's nothing all-American quite like a good old-fashioned barbecue. Sid's Barbecue and Jerky brings the most tender and flavorful pulled pork, brisket, and barbecue chicken to the tri-state area and is sure to turn your next gathering into a truly all-American event. Visit Sid's on Ridge Road in Claymont, Delaware, or place your next catering order at sidsbbqandjerky.com.
It's time for the second period. Let's head back upstairs to James Witherite.
Thank you, Norm Borg. Welcome back inside Hollydell Ice Arena. Welcome back to the Delaware Hockey Network. Brought to you by the law office of Heather A. Long. No score through 20 minutes. But no shortage of highlights as this first period came to its conclusion. Jake McLeod trying to bulldoze his way in to get one on the board for Rowan, but Joe Monty had other ideas. Final minute of play. Brendan Stam generating a breakaway off the feed from Brian Kramer. He too denied, as Bobby Kennedy was a perfect 6 for 6 in the save department for the Profs. His counterpart standing 178 feet away, Joe Monty, a perfect 9 for 9 through 20 minutes of play. Period 2 about to get underway. It could be presented by you. Sponsorship opportunities are available here on the Delaware Hockey Network. To learn more, email mjr at 412communications.com. Off in the second if you're just joining us here on the DHN. Delaware traveling right to left in second period play in their away blue sweaters. Rowan moving from left to right the way we see it in their home whites, brown pants, gold helmets. James Witherite joining you from the 412 Communications broadcast box. Our videographer tonight, and we're glad to have him on the 412 crew this season, Mr. Jordan Hirsch, a familiar voice in the northeastern portion of Philadelphia, covering the scholastic sporting world there with a common link in our respective worlds, Rich Fisher, wherever he may be. Journalist, commentator, writes for Hoofbeats magazine. Here a shot from Nick Thomas in close, kicked aside by Monty. And it's just amazing how interconnected the sporting world really is. And we're glad through our myriad connections in the horse racing and hockey spheres alike to bring Jordan Hirsch into the fold here on the 412. And as the season progresses, we'll be hearing from him on the air as well. Bianchi plays the puck behind the net to Karakavitas. Around the horn, this goes to Thompson. His shot from the left point bothered. Defensive pressure offered by Stam. Kramer tries to walk free, but the puck was poked clear of his reach by Duffy. Stam's going to pull back into his own zone. Kramer is off. Coming on to take his place is Greco. So a piecemeal changing of the guard for the Blue Hens, and here comes Stam barreling through neutral ice. He stick handles his way into the Rowan zone. Quick shot from the top of the left circle into the Kennedy glove, and he holds for the pause with 18:03 to go in the second period. And thanks to the heroics of the Massachusetts native Brendan Stam, the Delaware blue line, rather the Delaware second line, gifted an attacking zone face-off. The blue line comprised of Ehrlich and Buckman, as Oginski's overpowered over the dot. Duffy threw on the brakes right at center red before caroming the puck in deep behind the Delaware goal. It was cleared out by Ehrlich. Oginski to Cunningham, double teamed to the slot and now steered behind the cage by Robinson. Cunningham looking for a place to go. He was triple teamed in the far corner. He cycles to Oginski. Cunningham bodied off the path of the puck in the far corner again. He's tied up by Thompson. Here's Greco taking aim from the slot. Save made by Kennedy, and the trash was cleared out net front, aggressively so. Cunningham again, blocked shot off the setup from Buckman across the top of the zone. And a 2-on-2 for Rowan is led by Pantelis Karakavitas. He crashes the net. Monty with the save. Buckman broke his stick trying to clear the puck out of harm's way. So good defensive presence there from Michael Buckman after the Monty save. Monty committing to the near side. Left the far half of the net wide open. But Buckman was right there in the low slot to keep this game scoreless. Greco toes the puck ahead. Cunningham lost his footing in neutral ice. Play continues on. Mr. LaShalle and Miss White say no foul here, and on we continue. A note about our officials for this game. Rich Lachal, veteran of the South Jersey, Philadelphia area, referees quite a bit of collegiate hockey. And Laura White has worked the top levels of international women's competition, in addition to being one of the first female referees to skate in the American Hockey League. Karabasi to Meyer behind the net. It came out net front. McLeod was canceled out. Dewar clears. Rowan across to Wyatt just above the Rowan blue line. The headman pass intended for Meyer didn't connect. Here's Wyatt again. Stick handling his way into the Delaware zone this time. Carter Wyatt pulls up at the near half wall. He was steered wide of the slot by Dewar. The carom shot ends up on the stick of Riccardi. At the far side, worked in low. McLeod checked off the vulcanized rubber. Dewar double teamed, could not clear. DeStefano failed to punch the puck free. It was held in by Rowan right in front of his own bench. Nearing the 5-minute mark of the second period of this scoreless hockey game. Mason Dewar works this ahead to Brendan Stam. Stam taken off his feet, and we've got our first Delaware Sports Medicine power play of the night. As Laura White calls R.J. Rowan for tripping. So Rowan to take 4:54 in the second period. And the Blue Hens heading to their first Delaware Sports Medicine power play of the night. Whether you're a weekend warrior like me or a competitive athlete like these gentlemen, Dr. Brad Bly of Delaware Sports Medicine has all the answers for health and wellness and to help you achieve peak performance. Learn more at desportsmed.com. So the first Rowan penalty of the game was assessed to R.J. Rowan. There you see the particulars in the top left corner of your TV. Tripping at 4:54. And Monty will steady this puck for Aiden Starr. Starr, Buckman, Greco, Oginski, Cunningham. Second unit starting this wave for the Hens. Greco plays a hard carom shot behind the net around to Buckman, awaiting at the right point. Centering feed, Greco tried to pick the bottom corner from the top of the near circle, but Kennedy reacted for save number 9. This is Cunningham. Back to Buckman. Starr, top of the zone. Dishes the puck once again to Buckman. Pass across to the top of the near circle. Was batted up into the atmosphere. Looked like Riccardi caught it, but it was gloved down by Greco. Worked in low again. Starr was drawn out of the zone. Puck muscled away from him by Riccardi, who's got a breakaway. And he's denied by Joe Monty on that breakaway with 13:47 to go in the second period. Joe Monty coming up big once again for the Delaware Blue Hens. And a great shot of that availed us by Jordan Hirsch. As Riccardi's neutral zone heroics ultimately were all for naught. Top power play unit on for Delaware now with half a minute remaining in the man advantage. Oh no! Engelman got absolutely pummeled on his way in behind the Rowan goal. He's slow to get up on his feet. Looked like he took a header into the boards. He gingerly makes his way back to the bench. Will anything come of this? Probably not. Ultimately looked to be a nasty collision. So we stay 5-on-4 with 24 seconds remaining on this first Delaware Sports Medicine power play of the game. And the faceoff comes back at a neutral ice. Flom threw the puck in hard behind the goal. It rang to the near side. Kramer to Stam, quarterbacking the final 10 seconds of this power play. Brendan Stam back at center. The shot from the Kramer feed in traffic got through to Kennedy, who made the save, his 10th of the game. Hungry Hippos down in front after Stam launched the puck in again. And the Profs are back to full strength. So Kennedy up with a couple big saves on that first Delaware Sports Medicine power play of the night. And Monty with a stop as well, foiling the shorthanded breakaway of Lucas Riccardi. Hens coming in numbers. McManus bobbled the puck after gaining the zone. Flom recovers at center for the Blue Hens. McManus launches this in from just in front of his own bench. That will enable Delaware to get some fresh legs on the ice with 12 and a half minutes to go in the second period. Still scoreless from Hollydell. Trying to change that on the doorstep was Evan Oginski. But again, Bobby Kennedy slams the door. Absolutely worth another look. Here on the 412 Communications Instant Replay. Kramer with the initial shot. Oginski tried to finish at the edge of the crease, but ultimately to no avail as the sounds of Jan Hammer and the Miami Vice theme. Random though it may seem. Pump through the PA speakers here at Hollydell. Always a curious playlist for these Rowan games. But we digress. One of the many Delaware newcomers, Joey Legato, won the face-off just above the Rowan blue line. This is played by Starr to Snyder. Delayed offside signaled as he lost control of the puck and skittered in over the line. Starr to Legato, tipped in behind the Rowan net. DeStefano holding for Delaware. Snyder to Winloff across to Starr, taking aim from distance. Scrambling for another pair of rapid-fire saves was Bobby Kennedy. And no, not that one. First he denies Starr, and then the rebound follow-up chance from DeStefano crashing the net. So the Hens absolutely peppering Bobby Kennedy here in the second period. 8 shots already with 8 minutes and 45 seconds behind us. And Kennedy has had all the answers for the Profs. But likewise as Joe Monty for the Blue Hens. 26 combined shots. And not a darn thing for either of these teams to show for it. This is an icing against Delaware. So with 11 minutes remaining in the second period, the faceoff comes to the right of Hens netminder Joe Monty. Rudolph's long shot from the left point was broken up after the Karabasi faceoff win. McLeod sets up Riccardi at the point. D-to-D pass. Rudolph stepping up. Shot from distance held on to by Monty for a pause in play with 10:43 to go here in the second. Oginski and McLeod take the ensuing draw. The other 26, that's Delaware's Michael Buckman controlling the puck. Oginski tried to find Greco through neutral ice, but that headman pass was broken up by Riley Rudolph of Rowan. How's that for unintentional alliteration? Griffin Meyer on a 3-on-3 counterattack for the Profs. Passed the puck across to Karabasi. McLeod took aim from just above the left dot. Shot was wide. Flom brings down a rolling puck. He caroms it up the near side, beyond the reach of Greco. Riccardi tried to hold the point for Rowan. But the Hens drove on through neutral territory, and the Profs were forced back inside their blue line to reset. Halfway through a scoreless hockey game. This game is going to come down to who will make the first mistake defensively. Flom pummels Capecci mid-zone. Puck ends up at the far corner of the Delaware end. Capecci's there. Centering pass. Riccardi on the doorstep. No, sir, says Monty for save number 14. This shot from distance is in. And the first goal of the game comes on the strength of Xander Robinson. But it looked like Capecci had the net front touch from the Robinson shot. And the Profs, at 10:45 of the second period, draw first blood. It will be Capecci's second goal of the season. And we'll get particulars momentarily from the off-ice crew. So officially at 10:45. So we do have the particulars on that Rowan goal. Indeed, it was Riley Capecci with his second of the season. Robinson and Allen credited with the assists at 10:45. And here we go. Well behind the play. Stam got tied up with Allen, and we'll see what goes down here with 8:40 to go in the second. Holding on Allen. And the turkey's on the table for the Blue Hens as they head to their second Delaware Sports Medicine Power Play of the night. Learn more about Dr. Brad Bly's new membership program to help athletes of all ages and abilities achieve peak performance. Visit desportsmed.com to learn more. Again, holding the call on Matthew Allen at 11:20 in the second period. And Michael Buckman leaves this puck for Aiden Starr, who will carry it out of his own zone now across center and into the Rowan zone before it's swatted away by the Ontarian Dimitri Thompson. Buckman, Greco, Starr, now Olensky and McManus taken to the ice as well as the Hens set up on the offensive. Drop pass to Engelman. Long shot into the glove of Bobby Kennedy. And he holds for the pause in play with 7:49 to go in the second period. Shots even at 15 aside. Rowan with the lone goal of the game. It came off the stick of Riley Capecci at the 10:45 mark of this second period. Big guns on now for Delaware. Brendan Stam to Kramer, stepping up to the dot. Cross-slot feed, ricochets off the far boards, maintaining is Engelman. Engelman back across. Kramer looking for the lane. He tried to go top corner glove side, but Kennedy flashes the leather again for save number 16. 7.5 to go here in the second. 1-0 Rowan with the lead. 50 seconds remaining on this Delaware Sports Medicine Power Play. Hens 0 for 1 with the man advantage so far tonight, and for that matter, so far this season. Stam, Kramer. Back high it goes to Brendan Stam. He and Kramer play keep away near side. Now coming into their aid is McManus. Kramer across Stam, one-timer. Off the pads of Kennedy, race on for the rebound. It's held in by Kramer off the failed clear. Engelman to Stam, kicked it back up high. McManus, one-timer. Hey, shoots and scores. Owen McManus goes full send on Kennedy, and it's a 1-1 hockey game. Blue Hens strike here on the Delaware Sports Medicine power play. It was Owen McManus off the headman feed from Brendan Stam. At 13 minutes in the second period. So McManus with his first from Stam and Engelman. And that Delaware Sports Medicine power play goal came at exactly 13 minutes. In the second period, McManus with his first of the year to level the score after Riley Capecci potted his second of the season to put Rowan on the board 2 minutes and 15 seconds prior. Another save from Bobby Kennedy brings play to a halt with just under 6.5 minutes remaining. Here in period number 2. Hens have absolutely controlled the momentum in this period, out-shooting Rowan 13-6. And off the strength of that Delaware Sports Medicine power play goal, the Hens trying to maintain momentum and hopefully tuck a second. Snyder could not work through traffic along the left wing wall. Legato stripped of the puck after trying to hold the zone. Here's Bianchi the other way, but he and Duffy are outnumbered on their way into the Delaware zone. Duffy leaves this high. Rowan across the line. Shot from Carter Wyatt, bar down. And the Profs reclaim control. Wow. An absolute beauty from downtown Glassboro here. Was it Wyatt all the way or was it tipped? That again the question. And again we'll await the particulars from downstairs. So it was Bianchi with the net front tip. And for him, that is goal number 1 of the season after recording an assist last night at St. Joe's. So Bianchi from Wyatt and Rowan at 14:06. The go-ahead goal for the Profs. And Joe Monty freezes the puck for a pause in play with 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in period number 2. Again, whether you're a competitive athlete like these guys or a weekend warrior like me, a sports medicine physician is an important player on your health team. And with years of experience treating high school, collegiate, professional, and everyday athletes alike, Dr. Brad Bly of Delaware Sports Medicine is the specialist you need to achieve personal bests and lead a healthier lifestyle. And with clinics in both Wilmington and Townsend, Delaware Sports Medicine is here for every athlete in your family. DESportsmed.com, the place to go. Hens tucked one on the Delaware Sports Medicine power play. But after Owen McManus leveled the score, the Josh Bianchi goal for Rowan 66 seconds later has put the Profs back up 2-1, and we've entered the final 5 minutes of the second period from Hollydell. Flom flubbed the breakout pass to Greco. He's driven back deeper in his zone by the forechecking Griffin Meyer. He turns it over trying to clear the zone. This was launched in by McLeod from right in front of us. Flom clears again. Riccardi trails back toward his own blue line. Oginski put the pressure on him. This is volleyed back behind the Delaware goal yet again. Flom, far side, could not find Oginski. Trying to sweep the puck free of Rudolph was Greco to no avail. This was thrown in by Meyer and subsequently pursued. Monty stepped out of the crease to try to swat the puck out of harm's way. It ends up the object of a two-a-side battle right at the player entrance. The battle migrates into the near corner. Oginski and Flom trying to chip away at the puck, which is tied up by McLeod, pushed back below the goal. McLeod looking for space. He leaves this to Wyatt. Around the horn to Rowan it comes. His shot, bothered by Greco, skipped wide. Capecci sets up Wyatt. Shot blocked in traffic. The follow-up chance from Meyer goes up into the back netting and out of play with 3.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Rowan with a 2-1 lead over Delaware. Neither side giving much in the way of territory. Neither side giving much in the way of mistakes either. All three of these goals hard-earned. It's been top-grade execution to beat either of these netminders so far today. And it really will be a matter of which team outworks the other as we get ready for the home stretch drive in this season opening game for Delaware and the home opener for the Rowan Profs. Speaking of home openers, Delaware's home opener takes place tomorrow as the Golden Rams of Westchester University invade Fred Rust Arena. Game time 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Tickets available at udellhockey.com. If you can't join us in person, you can catch all the action right here on the Delaware Hockey Network. Inside 3 minutes to go in the second period. Rowan with a 2-1 lead. Winloff takes a high hit from Capecci into the back glass. Starr protects the puck for Delaware, but he will be guilty of an icing with 2 minutes and 37 seconds remaining here in period number 2. Face-off will come to the left of Joe Monty, who has saved 14 of 16 total shots to this point of the hockey game. Starr tries to clear. Bowman recovers for Rowan. He couldn't feed to Findlay, crashing the net. And Delaware escaped their zone, if only momentarily. Winloff plays the puck across near side, nobody home. Xander Robinson marches right back into the Delaware end. Centering pass. Trying to shoot in close was Bowman, but he was bothered in the low slot. Puck ends up wide as Monty was momentarily out of position. Good defensive support lent by the tandem of Starr and Winloff. Kramer tried to disrupt the shot from Dimitri Thompson at the point. It was blocked down in traffic, and now Kramer heads a 2-on-2 up the left wing wall for Delaware. Robinson bodied Kramer off the puck. Rudolph emerges with it for Rowan. Ehrlich holding the line for Delaware. Findlay tries to chip it past him to no avail. Legato couldn't work free. And the puck ends up behind the Delaware goal yet again as we come to the final 80 seconds of the second period. Ehrlich tried to throw a breakout pass up the middle. Didn't get good contact on the puck. Findlay knocking on the door. Denied by the glove of Joe Monty with 1 minute and 17 seconds to go in the second. Another near circle face-off conducted by the lovely and talented Anthony Verderies. Dominic Riccardi stepping up from the top of the right circle. Denied by Monty from 30 feet away. Verderies beckons the centers. Legato and Bianchi. Legato won the draw. Snyder taken off his feet, scrapping for a loose puck at center. We've entered the final minute of play. Delaware have entered the attacking zone. Delayed penalty coming up. There's the Laura White whistle with 54 seconds remaining. And a trip against the Profs, namely Dominic Riccardi, will send the Hens back to the Delaware Sports Medicine power play to try to erase the Profs' lead in what remains of period number 2. $19:05, the official time of the penalty for Dominic Riccardi. Rung up for tripping in the neutral zone. Engelman hassled in the far corner. Leaves the puck to Olensky. Kramer to the top of the zone and Stam. The umbrella starts to collapse. Engelman. Kramer touch pass back to Stam. He gives it back. Kramer in the corner. Stam walking the line. He and Kramer switch places. Only 13 seconds to go. Brian Kramer got a shot away from the top of the zone, but it was kicked away by Kennedy. Final 5. Hens will have to hurry. Stam, last chance shot, was blocked by Robinson, and that will do it for the second period, as the lines people have to separate Olensky and Kromchik, who exchanged words and then some to bring period number 2 to its conclusion. So the teams retreat to their respective dressing rooms for the second intermission, 2-1 through 40. Delaware will start the third on the power play for 66 seconds more.
Think about it. The trash and recycling bins in our homes, even with normal use, are places where harmful bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli can multiply by the thousands. But like anyone, you want to keep your home and your family as healthy as possible. Delaware Trash Can Cleaning can help. They sanitize your trash cans with high-pressure hot water jets that can kill over 99% of the germs and bacteria in your cans in just a few minutes. To schedule your first cleaning, call 302-310-9075 or visit DelawareTrashCanCleaning.com.
There's nothing all-American quite like a good old-fashioned barbecue. Sid's Barbecue and Jerky brings the most tender and flavorful pulled pork, brisket, and barbecue chicken to the tri-state area and is sure to turn your next gathering into a truly all-American event. Visit Sid's on Ridge Road in Claymont, Delaware, or place your next catering order at sidsbbqandjerky.com.
Let's face it, saving for retirement doesn't happen overnight. It takes planning, and Limestone Pension Associates has spent the past 35 years helping small businesses do just that. Limestone specializes in crafting, planning, and handling the day-to-day administration of qualified pension plans tailor-fit to your company's needs and objectives. To schedule a consultation, call 302-479-8817 or visit limestonepension.net to learn more.
It's time for the third period. Let's head back upstairs to James Witherite.
Thank you, Norm Borg. Welcome back into Hollydell Ice Arena. Welcome back to the Delaware Hockey Network. Brought to you by the law office of Heather A. Long. Third period about to get underway. 66 seconds left on this Delaware Sports Medicine power play for the Blue Hens to start the third period and try to erase what's left of a 2-1 Rowan lead. Stam drop pass to Kramer. Here they come in tandem up the right wing boards. Kramer plays the carom shot below the goal. McManus, the goal scorer from earlier, leaves it back to Kramer. Stam just inside the line. Back to Kramer it goes. They play keep away in front of the Rowan bench. Across to Joey Engelman this comes. Stam just held center point. He launches the puck into net front traffic. Looked like Xander Robinson got a piece of it up close. And this puck was steered to the near corner where Engelman left it to McManus. Across again, Brian Kramer with a shot from the top of the left circle. Kennedy up with save number 20 on the night. 12 to go on the man advantage for the Blue Hens. A minute gone of the period. And the 2-1 deficit will stand as the penalty to Dominic Riccardi expires and the Profs are back to full strength. This is offside with 18:49 to go in regulation. James Witherite joining you from the 412 Communications broadcast box. Jordan Hirsch, our videographer this evening. If you are just joining us here on the DHN. The officials tonight, Rich Lashall and Laura White in the orange armbands. The lines people are Gavin Kushner and Anthony Verderies. Sweater colors this evening, Delaware in blue traveling left to right. Rowan and white traveling right to left here in the third period of play. Profs attacking in numbers out of their own zone. Findlay to Thomas and the Bullet. Squared up for and turned aside easily by Joe Monty. Joe had a sparkling first period, 9 saves on 9 shots. He gave up 2 during the second period. 1 to Capecci, 1 to Bianchi. Both net front redirects to get past the Delaware netminder, but on initial shots, Monty's been more than all right. Drop pass from Thomas to Findlay on the re-entry. And another Monty save keeps us a 1-goal game. Hens dump and change. And Wyatt will start it up from behind his own goal. A sweep check from Stam broke up his momentum. So Carter Wyatt had to race down a loose puck to try to start again. Duffy clears. This will not be an icing. Aiden Starr was ruled able to play that puck by linesperson Gavin Kushner. This will be an icing against Delaware with 17:13 to go. And the face-off is spotted to the left of Joe Monty. 18 for 20 in the save department tonight. Bobby Kennedy has stopped 20 of 21 on behalf of the Rowan Profs. Rudolph confronted by Dewar, got some help from Bianchi right in front of us. Bianchi chips the puck off the near boards. It comes back to him after Karakavitas gained the zone. Karakavitas centering pass. He couldn't find Duffy on the welcome mat. And the puck ends up back inside the Rowan line where Rudolph swats it back to center. Bianchi drives this in up the left wing boards. It's taken away by DeStefano for Delaware. Played across far side. Flom could not clear. Starr gonna try. But Duffy swarms him, turning up that forechecking presence with 3.5 minutes gone in the third period. Touch pass from Dewar. Finds Legato. Net front Stam couldn't tuck one past Kennedy. And it stays a 2-1 hockey game. Hens get some fresh legs on. Thompson stands up Engelman. Right in front of us, and the puck ends up deep in Delaware territory. Thompson's one-timer from the left point goes into the back netting behind Joe Monty with 15:58 to go in regulation. Face-off coming to Monty's right. Joey Legato, the newcomer, across from Matthew Carabassi in Rowan white and brown. Brother Luke Carabassi not in the lineup tonight. The George Snyder shot for Delaware from the top of the left circle was met by a Bobby Kennedy stick save. Flom held the point. He kept the puck in deep. Snyder tries to muscle his way through the slot, but Robinson steals the vulcanized rubber. He's stripped of it by Legato at center. Engelman chases down a bouncing puck, but he bobbled it at the blue line. McManus throws it in after everyone tags up. And now Legato all alone, surrounded by white sweaters, gives way. And the Ontarian Dimitri Thompson floated the puck ahead to Meyer, who gained red before a well-executed dump and change enables the Rowan Profs to get some fresh legs on with 5 minutes gone here in the third period. Profs leading 2-1 on home ice in front of their home crowd for the first time this year. Allen tried to snipe it, but missed the near post. Puck is loose in the far corner after it rebounded off the boards. Capecci looking for his second. Took aim from the top of the slot, didn't have the angle he'd hoped for. Rudolph protecting at the left point. The battle rages on mid-zone, and muscling his way out of traffic was Matthew Allen. He couldn't get a shot away cleanly. On the doorstep was Riccardi, looking to find the back of the net to no avail. Bodies down net front. And Rudolph protecting the Rowan gets the puck in deep again, but he gave it away to Engelman as everyone's back up and dusted off from that net front skirmish. 14:12 to go. The hulking presence of John Kromchik holding the line for Rowan. He got the puck in low, but Riccardi was surrounded by blue sweaters and could not prolong the attack. Hens dump and change. Alternate captain Riley Rudolph clears, but Stam hacked the puck down just above the blue line. Buckman gained control. Stam to Kramer. They're onside in their attack. Kramer tried to set one up net front. Stam wasn't in position for the headman feed. Capecci back the other way for the Profs. That's a 2-on-3. Capecci all alone after getting angled past Jake Ehrlich. Took aim, but Monty came up with the save, tipping the puck well out of harm's way. Stam back to Ehrlich. Kramer works the puck up the left wing boards. Bowman recovers. Brian Bowman pulls back behind the Rowan goal, trying to burn a few seconds off the clock as we work to 7 minutes completion here in the third period. Profs 2, Blue Hens 1. In this renewal of this storied rivalry between these two programs across the Delaware River. Bowman off the pipe from the corner. Greco could not clear. Puck awkwardly bounced off a stanchion in the corner glass. Ehrlich steers this away from the reach of the forechecking Max Findlay. And the other 11, Brendan Stam, gets the puck from blue line to blue line and then some before hustling off for a change. Evan Winloff could not find Oginski on the transition pass through neutral territory. Cunningham recovers the puck for Delaware over red. And the Hens try to set up a more deliberate attack. The 21s vie for the puck as it trickles into the Rowan zone. Oginski could not control. Rowan could not clear. Thomas finds Rowan to the other way. He stood up in the high slot by Starr. While the attack of Rowan failed to materialize, Thomas tried to take aim, couldn't generate any momentum. This chance from Bianchi foiled by Joe Monty. Turning the puck to the far side, it bounces loose in front. Bianchi turned, wrist shot from point blank range was off its mark. Here come the Profs again, but the centering pass high from Duffy was mishandled by Bianchi. The re-entry from Dominic Riccardi along the right wing boards is called back offside with 11:29 to go in the third period, and the Rowan Profs leading 2-1 over Delaware. With a listen-first approach that creates a unique solution for your circumstances, the expert team at the law office of Heather A. Long are committed to providing empathetic and compassionate legal representation for individuals who have suffered injuries. To schedule a free consultation, call the law office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com. The law office of Heather A. Long back as the proud presenting partner of the Delaware Hockey Network here for the 2025-26 season. 9 minutes elapsed to the third period. Battle to the right of Joe Monty goes Delaware's way. This puck is cleared by Aiden Starr, but it will come all the way back as the result of an icing against Delaware. Hens home opener is tomorrow, as the men's Division II squad takes on the Golden Rams of Westchester. Puck drop scheduled for 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:15 for those of you joining us on the West Coast. Tickets available at udelhockey.com. We'll be here with all the action on the Delaware Hockey Network, though, just the same. Join us for pregame coverage starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Aiden Starr corrals a loose puck deep in his own zone. Stam carries it on. Here's Dewar together with DeStefano, former Salesianum teammates. Unable to connect. The centering pass to the mid-slot broken up by the back-checking Max Findley and Rowan White. Bowman chips the puck off the near glass. Rowan back on the offensive. Findley couldn't chase the puck down. Flom propels it into the protective netting over the glass and out of play with 10 minutes and 4 seconds to go in what stands a 2-1 hockey game. Profs with the advantage, but take nothing away from the effort shown by the Delaware Blue Hens to this point. Very little have separated these two teams. Capecchi wanted that second goal, unable to get it from right in front of the blue paint. Robinson gets the puck in deep off a failed Delaware clear. Engelman works this up the near boards. Thompson bobbled at the left point, but he held the zone for the Profs. Engelman plays this off the backboards to deep partner Josh Flom. Legato got as far as center before giving the puck away. Engelman floats this beyond the reach of Dimitri Thompson, who recovers the puck in the near corner under pursuit from McManus. 9:18 remaining here in third period action from Hollydell Ice Arena, and man, this place looks nothing like it did when we were first here 8 years ago. The renovations that this barn has undergone, simply impressive. Dunlop's Pub between both rinks, a great place to watch a hockey game, great menu, great beer list. A far cry from the dusty, smoky confines of Hollydell when we were first here in 2017. And all the credit in the world due to the ownership and the management and the staff of Hollydell Ice Arena for investing in this barn and making it truly a fun place to come and bring you Delaware hockey a couple times a year. Under 9 minutes to go, as an icing yields an attacking zone face-off for the Blue Hens. Buckman just held the line. Long shot was blocked. Ehrlich took aim opposite side. Karabasi with the block and the clear. Here's Stam walking back in. Brian Kramer one-on-one. Shot kicked away by Kennedy. Buckman follow up from the right point. Getting the puck in low again. Stam's got it tied up in the far corner. He's double teamed. Kramer trying to muscle his way beyond the reach of Wyatt. He ran the gauntlet left side, but he couldn't set up Ehrlich holding the point. Race on for the puck at the Delaware blue line. The 26s got tangled up. McLeod lost his stick after colliding with Buckman. Here is Kramer. Checked off the puck, drop pass to Olensky. And his shot from the right half wall is held on to by Bobby Kennedy for a pause with 8 minutes to go in regulation. And the Rowan Profs clinging to that 2-1 lead over Delaware. Looking at that last A-grade scoring chance from Delaware, Brian Kramer paved away to the mid slot, but Bobby Kennedy up with a kick save and a beauty, a 1-2. Keeping his Rowan University Profs on top 2-1. Eight minutes remaining in regulation. Some arenas still have an organist, not the case here at Hollydell. As we get the vibe of an organist, but the canned version. And the chance of Let's Go Profs give way to the continuation of play in the Rowan zone, and a stoppage with 7:54 to go in regulation. Looks like a hand pass against Delaware, and we'll have a face-off right in front of us as the Hens' second line lose their zone. Oginski won the draw. Starr could not feed to Greco up the left wing boards. This comes back Dan Duffy through neutral ice, gets the puck deep into the Delaware zone. Evan Winloff, the Missouri native, unable to clear. He's swarmed by Duffy, 7:35 to go. Duffy tried to find a shot lane, coming back up the right side. He took aim just above the goal line. Joe Monty flashes the leather. He holds on from the glove save. 7.5 to go. The faceoff comes to his left, with Rowan maintaining and preserving to this point a 2-1 advantage. Winloff absorbs a check. Cunningham on the breakout. Cunningham through traffic did manage to wrest the puck away from Bianchi and gain the zone for the Blue Hens. Cunningham double teamed. Takes a check from Duffy. They get tied up in the near corner. Holding the point was Flom for Delaware. Starr across to Flom, who directs the puck off his skate in below the goal. Kromchik, who stands, I'd say about 6'8" on skates, muscles his way as far as the blue line, but couldn't get past Cunningham. And this will be an icing against the Profs with 6:45 to go in regulation. Crucial face-off for the Blue Hens. Coming to the right of Bobby Kennedy. Third line on for Delaware. DeStefano, Dewar, and with them Stam. Vince Falkowski dressing 11 forwards for this game. And the tandem of Stam and Kramer are splitting time along with the Salesianum pair of Dewar and DeStefano on that third line. 6:20 remaining. Rowan 2, Delaware 1. Rowan looking to improve to 3-0. The long shot from Robinson drew Monty to the far post. There was open net for Findlay to work with off the rebound off the backboards, but he couldn't finish for a third Rowan goal. 6 to go. Bowman taken off his feet, trying to cut through the slot. Puck ends up in the near corner of the Delaware end. Dewar could not clear. A three-a-side scrum develops at the half wall. Walking in for Rowan is Dimitri Thompson, but he's steered below the cage. Thompson with some help now, turning and shooting was Max Findlay. Monty with the save and another, this time denying Thomas off the rebound chance. And this will come back an icing against the Hens with 5:26 remaining. Puck evaded Bowman just enough for Verderies to signal the icing. The Profs with another attacking zone face-off coming their way. And the Riccardi, Allen, Capecci line. Coming on for the Profs, of course, the NCAA rulebook prevailing here in ACHA play, and as such, Delaware prohibited from changing players off the icing. Referee Laura White making sure the proper personnel on for the Hens, and they quickly clear off the draw. And now they work in a piecemeal change. Good chance from Lucas Riccardi, looking for his first goal of the season and his second point of the season. But Monty falls on the puck and freezes for the pause with 5:11 to go. Give or take a couple seconds. Delaware again clear off the draw. Rudolph could not find Riccardi. Puck was taken away by Legato. Shot from distance, stick checked off its line. Buckman opens fire from the right point. He missed the near post. Puck skipped off the backboards. Ehrlich from the other side puts one net front. McManus couldn't finish for a second. Kennedy freezes the puck to the delight of the Rowan faithful, and it stays 2-1 with 4:48 to go. There a second look at that Ehrlich chance, trying to set up Owen McManus on the doorstep. Bobby Kennedy more than holding his ground, and the faceoff comes to his right. With just under 5 minutes to go, we're in deep stretch from Hollydell. Rowan with a 2-1 lead, and now a 3-on-3 attack up ice. Josh Bianchi steered behind the net by the back-checking Jake Ehrlich, taken right out of the shot lane. Holding the left point was Wyatt, surrounded by blue sweaters. Puck skitters across the line, back into neutral territory. Snyder tried to backhand it toward the Rowan zone. Muscling back through neutral ice was R.J. Rowan to gain the Delaware line. Again, the Hens clear. Bianchi ahead to Karakavitas. In he comes up the near boards. Advancing pass to Dan Duffy, met by Winloff in the near corner. Starr looking for space. Across to Winloff. Breakout pass well beyond the reach of George Snyder, but the Hens will be gifted an attacking zone face-off as a result of an icing, with 3 minutes and 51 seconds to go. Big guns on for the Blue Hens as Falkowski starts to shorten the bench. Kramer, Stam, Olensky on up front. Winloff and Starr, the two rookies, holding down the back end defensively. Brendan Stam trying to work through the gauntlet, stripped of the puck by Josh Bianchi of Rowan. Starr couldn't keep the puck in. Delayed offside against Delaware off that long dump in. Here's Wyatt racing back up the middle. Into the Delaware zone. Quick shot from high in the zone. Steered over the crossbar and into the back glass by Monty for save number 26. 200 seconds to go. Thomas tried to stick handle off his backhand. Olensky swarmed him. Forced the turnover. And now Aiden Starr works up ice. He tried to find Kramer on a breakout pass, but Thomas intercepted, and he threw the puck in toward Monty to no avail. Xander Robinson steered behind the net by Winloff. Comes back out the near side. Big old public skating circle from Robinson, who took aim from the top of the zone. Monty stick save, directs the puck to the near corner. 2:45 to go in regulation. Olensky 2-on-2 for Delaware. Hard shot. Kennedy slams the door. Rapid fire counterattack from the Blue Hens. Pat Olensky found the lane he wanted to get past Robinson, but Bobby Kennedy came up in the clutch. for save number 27 on the night. And thanks to Kennedy, much of Delaware's offensive productivity has been mission impossible. Speaking of that curious Hollydell playlist once again. 2:19 to go. Rowan 2, Delaware 1. Oginski could not walk past Capecci. Capecci stood up by Flom trying to cut through the slot. Their taking aim was Matthew Allen. Monty responding with a save once again. Puck is tied up off the rebound behind the Delaware goal as we enter the final 2 minutes of the contest. 2-1, Rowan with the advantage, and still with the puck. One-timer, Capecci off the setup from Riccardi, denied by a Monty stick save. Rebound contested in the low slot. Holding the zone was Matthew Allen. Across to Rudolph it came. Engelman got a hold of the puck, and he clears it back to neutral ice. It's chipped back in by Rudolph, taken off his feet by Greco. Final 90 seconds. Rowan up 2-1 in their home opener over Delaware in their season opener. Battle for the puck continues on in the near corner of the Delaware zone. Evan Oginski muscles this free, and it's carried on by Cunningham. Up the left wing boards into Rowan territory. Hens hustle a changing of the guard. Riccardi takes it away for the Profs. Long pass evading the reach of Riley Capecci, and this will be an icing against Rowan with 67 seconds to go in regulation. And you've got to wonder now, is this the time when the Blue Hens will put on the extra attacker? Monty looking over to the bench. And the Hens will take their timeout. With 67 seconds to go, we too will take ours. Here on the Delaware Hockey Network, brought to you by Heather A. Long. We'll be back momentarily.
To schedule your free consultation today, call the law office of Heather A. Long at 302-466-5664 or visit injuryde.com.
Back inside Hollydell Ice Arena. Hens have taken their timeout. And now with 67 seconds to go, a half dozen Delaware will try to take advantage of this attacking zone faceoff. Olensky, McManus, Legato, Kramer, Stam, Engelman. Five forwards, one defender. And now Rowan will take their timeout. And we hear the same soundtrack we did but a minute and a half ago. The Delaware Hockey Network is brought to you by our presenting partner, the law office of Heather A. Long. Also brought to you by 412 Communications and Delaware Sports Medicine. Sponsorship opportunities are available for the 2025-26 season. Get your brand's name in front of a growing audience spanning the Wilmington, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston area markets. Coverage of University of Delaware Blue Hens ACHA hockey, Drexel Dragons ACHA hockey, and the Philadelphia Little Flyers of the Mid-Atlantic Women's Hockey Association, Salesianum School, and more. To learn more about sponsorship opportunities, email mjr at 412communications.com. And Molly will give you more information on sponsorship opportunities for every budget and purpose imaginable. Home stretch, 67 seconds, here we go. Kramer won the draw over Thomas. Engelman could not hold the point. Puck was deflected by Thomas back in to the Delaware zone. Hustling back to recover was Brendan Stam. Play action behind the net. Stam to Kramer. Up the right wing boards he comes. Kramer gains the zone. He's steered by Robinson in the corner. Centering pass intended for Engelman, crashing the net, but he lost his footing. Long shot came from Brian Kramer. It was tipped off the glove of Bobby Kennedy. So save 28 for Kennedy. 30 seconds remaining. Trying to throw the loose puck in was Thomas after the deflection, but it was blocked by Engelman net front. Final 20. Here's McManus looking for two. Shot off the cross slot feed was just wide. This thrown in by Engelman. It popped up in the atmosphere off a stick at the top of the crease. Olensky again. Final 5 seconds. Cycled to Legato. Stam looking shot. Last second shot ends up in the glove of Bobby Kennedy. And despite the last-ditch effort to tie the game, the Delaware Blue Hens come up just short as the Rowan University Profs hold their ground for a 2-1 home win in their first Hollydell game of the season. Bobby Kennedy backstopping the Profs to victory with 29 saves. Goals from Bianchi and Capecci. Powering the Profs to their third win of the season. And the Blue Hens will try again tomorrow on home ice as they take on the Golden Rams of Westchester. A look at the 3 stars of the game brought to you by Sid's Barbecue and Jerky. Both goalies playing absolutely phenomenal hockey tonight. Joe Monty, the 3rd star, in defeat with 29 saves. Josh Bianchi getting 2nd star honors with the game-winning goal. And Bobby Kennedy, the cornerstone of this Rowan Profs team, improving to 2-0-0 on the year after recording 29 saves in his 2nd victory of the weekend. We'll do it all again tomorrow as the Delaware Men's Division II team heads to Fred Rust Arena, where they will host the Westchester Golden Rams. Game time 3:15, airtime 3 o'clock Eastern Time here on the Delaware Hockey Network. For Jordan Hirsch, for Broadway Joe Sindoni, for co-executive producer Molly Jo Rosen and the entire crew behind the scenes, this is James Witherite saying thank you for your company. We'll do it all again tomorrow here on the Delaware Hockey Network, and it's brought to you by the law office of Heather A. Long. From the Garden State, a good night to you all.